Well, over the next few minutes, I'm going to help you create your very first presentation inside ProPresenter. We're going to go over all the features you need to know how to use to get that first presentation up and running. Before we do that, I want to help you understand how ProPresenter works. ProPresenter uses layers. Much like Photoshop and other layout programs, there are multiple layers that sit on top of each other to create the final image. Inside ProPresenter, there's 6 different layers that you have available. The first layer is the background color. Now, the background color is a global setting, or it can be a per document setting of a background color, and it's defaulted to black, so sometimes you don't even realize that it's there. The next layer is the live video layer, which contains all of your live video elements. The layer on top of that is the video playback layer, which contains your background videos and foreground videos. Then you have the slide layer, which contains things like message notes, song lyrics, Bible passages, and other slide elements. The next layer on top of that is a persistent layer called props, which stay on top of your presentation at all times. And the final layer is the masking layer, which allows you to mask out areas of your final output image. So now that we see all the different layers that make up ProPresenter, let's create our first presentation. So let's start by understanding the interface. First, on the left column here, you'll see a preview region that shows any slides up on the screen. Now this is also resizable so you can get a larger preview. Now underneath that, you'll see the library, and this contains all of the different documents you have available to you. Now this is everything from songs to message notes to announcement loops. And underneath there is where you can create playlists of all of your different documents for an individual event. Now on the right side of the screen, you'll see our document viewer, and this shows all of the slides available for this document and allows you to scroll through and throw them on the screen in any order. Now underneath that is the image and video bin. You'll see we have a couple different options. We have backgrounds, which is all of the background media available. So I can click on this background and it's going to show up underneath the text there because it's a background. Now we also have foregrounds, which is for mini movies or title graphics, a purchased area for any media bought from the ProPresenter store, and any other playlists that you've created. Now at the top you'll see a toolbar. Now on the left side here we have our clear buttons. We can clear all, we can clear slides, which will get rid of the text, we can clear backgrounds, which will get rid of the background, and we have a logo button we can put on as well, and we can hit clear all to get rid of that logo. Now we have a new button for new documents, we have the editor button to pull up our editor, and we can show and hide the video and image bin as well as the audio bin. Now next are different features available inside ProPresenter. The first one here is messages, which is really helpful because we can throw messages on the screen for nursery callouts, and we can even do countdown clocks. Next we have props, which as I said before is a persistent layer that shows up on top of all other slides, and we can easily clear that out by just clicking the logo button, and we can close out the active props menu by clicking the X there. We have other things like the store, song select, Bibles, DVD, and Twitter. Next we have a format bar, which allows us to format the way that all of these slides look. Next to that is a timeline, which allows us to automate slides to a song track. And we have a templates area, which allows us to select different templates to quickly change the look of our slides. And finally, we have our output window on and off, and we can change the volume inside ProPresenter as well as customize the toolbar. So now let's create our first song. So I'm going to go to the new presentation button, and we're going to type in Jesus Loves Me. And then under template, we're going to go in and we're going to select the full screen template that we want to use. And for category, this isn't a presentation, this is a song, and then the size is correct, so we'll just hit new. Now you can see it's created Jesus Loves Me, and now we can start editing it to add our lyrics. So I'm going to click on the editor button, and this will bring us into our editing mode. Now we can just double click here to add our text, and I'm not going to bore you, but I'm going to add in the whole first verse of Jesus Loves Me. So you can see I've created this first verse, and now we need to add in the chorus. So I'm going to go down to the new slide button, and we have two options. We can either do what I just did and create a new slide, or we can actually click this drop down and create a slide with a specific template. So now in here, I'm going to type in the chorus of Yes, Jesus Loves Me, and we're just going to copy and paste this. So I'm using Command C, Command V, and for the Bible tells me so. And so now we've created all the text for our song. So now let's apply some labels so we know what it is. So I'm going to close out this editor, and in here we're going to label our slides with different groups. So I'm going to right click on this and I'm going to apply a group label of verse 1. Now you can see it's colored both of these slides because it's trying to group everything together, but we want this to be the chorus, so all we have to do is right click on this and do a new group, and we can say chorus. And now our song has different labels. So now we've created our first simple song, but most of the time you'll have a text file, you're copying text from online, or you're using services like Song Select to bring in your lyrics. So let's see how to create a song easily and quickly with those services. So the first way you could do this is go to File and do Import, and you could either do copied text, PowerPoint, or import old ProPresenter files. What we're going to do is use Song Select. So I'm going to click on Song Select. We're going to go over to the search field and we're going to search for Everlasting God. And we're going to scroll down and we're going to find this one by Benton Brown. We're going to click on the lyrics. And under this lyric drop-down, you'll see copy or save as TXT file. And when I click on this, ProPresenter is automatically going to recognize it, and it's going to bring up the import dialog box. So now we can do, we can break up our slides by line break, and we can say every 4 lines becomes a new slide. We can also set the size of the presentation, the category, and the template. And so we're going to go with our default, and we can choose the destination we want it to save to the library. We also have an option to go to the reflow editor. So I'm going to select the song and hit edit, and this is going to bring up our reflow editor. And what this allows us to do is see how the song will look once it's imported, and we can change it really quickly and easily. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this drop down and I'm going to add our label of pre-chorus. Then we're also going to go in, and we don't have a label of chorus 1, we just have a label of chorus, so I'm going to change that out to chorus. And then I'm going to go down to the verse and make sure everything's in order. And as you can see, our slide break is in the wrong place. So what I'm going to do is just drag this slide break right there, and then we're going to just have to hit enter to knock that down to the next line. So now verse 1 is all lined up, our chorus is all good to go, and our pre-chorus. So now let's hit import, and that's imported it to the library. We're going to close out Song Select, and now we can actually make an arrangement of this song. So I'm going to hit the arrangements button, and in here you'll see we have tokens for each of our different areas of our arrangement. We have our pre-chorus, chorus, and verse. So I'm going to add a new arrangement, and we're going to call this normal, and we're going to reorder this. So this song starts with the verse and does the pre-chorus and then the chorus, and it does that twice. So we can quickly add this, and as I'm adding these in, you'll see it's automatically updating. Then we're going to add in a pre-chorus and then a double chorus at the very end. So now our song has been arranged. Now the next thing we want to do is create a playlist. So I'm going to go down here in the corner and I'm going to create a new playlist. This is also where you would create a new Planning Center Online playlist. So I'm going to do new playlist, and we're going to name this Sunday. And we're going to bring in Everlasting God. So I'm just going to drag this in. We're also going to search for our Jesus Loves Me. And we're going to bring that in here as well. So now that we have those 2 items in, we can actually select which arrangement we want for them. So for Everlasting God, I'm going to flip down and I'm going to say I want the normal arrangement. And then I can flip that back up, and this is going to utilize our normal arrangement. Jesus Loves Me, we don't have an arrangement, so I'm going to just quickly make one. So again, we're going to do a new arrangement. We're just going to say verse, chorus, chorus. And let's add in a background here. So we're just going to add this in to the beginning. And for Everlasting God, let's add in another background. And these are all backgrounds that come with ProPresenter 5. So there's a great selection of backgrounds that you can put in here. So as you can see, when I add it to the chorus, it adds it to all choruses, and when I add it to the verse, it adds it to all verses, which is really, really nice. So now let's add some more media to our playlist. So now we can go down to foregrounds, and I have a mini movie here that I want to add in. All I'm going to do is click and drag it over into the playlist, and now you can see we have a mini movie we can easily play a part of our playlist. Now let's say we wanted to add an announcement loop. So I'm just going to go find my announcements here. And we're going to click on these and we're going to bring these in and add these to our playlist as well. So the last thing that you'll probably want to add to your playlist is message notes for the teaching, and I'll show you how to do this pretty quickly and easily. So again, I'm going to go up to the new presentation button and we're just going to type in message notes. And we're going to change this from song to speaker notes, and our template and size is good, so we'll hit new. So then we can go to the editor and we can type in our title. A lot of times after you add in the title and any other notes, your pastor is going to want to add in Bible verses. So let's quickly add those in. So I'm going to click on Bibles and I'm going to select a Bible and we're going to select a book of the Bible and we're just going to do Genesis 1 and we're just going to say Genesis 1 through 3. And what we're going to do is we're going to say save as document or copy to current document. And I want to copy to current document. So I have that selected. I'm going to do copy to current document, and I'm going to close out the Bibles, and you'll see my message notes now has that King James Genesis 1 passage, and we can bring that in, and now our playlist is ready to go. So now we've created our playlist and created all of our songs. Now let's navigate it. There's a few different ways to navigate through slides. The first is just by clicking. So you can click on any slide and click on any item in your playlist and it will go immediately there. The next way is by using arrow keys. So if I hit the up arrow key or the down, it will navigate through the playlist. If I hit the over arrow key, it will enter that playlist and start going through the slides. And I can hit back and forth, or I can hit the space bar to also go ahead to the next slide. We can also punch in a number on our keypad and then the enter key to go to a specific slide. So if I wanted to jump to slide 13, I would just type in 1, 3 and enter, and it's going to jump ahead to slide 13. You can also assign hotkeys to slides. We also have another view we can do, which is called contiguous. And what this does is allows us to see all of the slides all in this one view so that we don't just have one thing there. And so again, we can easily click and hit space and it will go to the next thing in the playlist. And you can see how we can navigate through. You've just finished making your first presentation inside ProPresenter. Congratulations, and as you can see, it's really easy to use. If you want to find out more about all the other features that we didn't really touch on, or you kind of glance through and you're like, well, how do I fully utilize that? Make sure to check out all the other tutorials that go in depth on specific features inside ProPresenter. There are many times that churches want to convey information through an announcement loop. These are slides up on the screen that help tell about events or information going on in the church, and you normally see these before or after a service. So let's check out how to make one of these. So I'm going to go to New Presentation, and I'm going to type in Loop. And this is where all of our slides will be. Now I could right click on this first slide and add a media cue of an image and set it to foreground for our slide. But instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here and I have a folder opened with 4 different images in it. I've selected all of them and I'm just going to drag them right inside. And you can easily add media inside ProPresenter this way. I'm just going to delete this slide because we don't need it anymore. And now we have our slides. The problem is if I would do this, I would have to manually click through all of these slides, and that's not really what we want to do. We want these to automatically move forward. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag select all of these slides, and then I'm going to right click and I'm going to do a go to next timer. Now I'm going to set this for, let's just do 2 seconds for now, which is kind of fast, but it will help us get our point across. And now when I click on this first slide, it's going to sit on the screen for 2 seconds, and then it's going to go to the next slide, and so on. What you'll notice here at the end is when our welcome lunch slide comes up, it's just going to stay there because it has no slide to go to. What we want it to do is to go back to the beginning. So I'm going to right click, and I'm going to go to my go to next timer, and I'm going to click on this little box that says loop to first slide. I'm going to hit OK. And now when I click on this presentation, I can arrow through, and once I hit this welcome lunch slide, it'll stay on for 2 seconds, and then it's going to go back to the beginning to our bake sale slide. Now what if you wanted to add in video inside your announcement loop? Well, you can do that. So let's go down to our foregrounds area, and I have a video in here, and I'm just going to drag it into my loop. So I'm just going to click and drag, and I'm just going to add it in right here. Now what's going to happen is this video is going to get hit here and it's going to start playing. But at the very end of this video, it would just play out to the end and stop. So I'm just going to try to scrub forward here to the very, very end. And so you'll see that it goes off the screen and it just stops. So again, what we need to do is add a go to next timer. So we're going to add a go to next timer, and in here you'll say, in case of foreground videos, this is the amount of time the last frame of video will be displayed. Well, we know the last video frame doesn't need to be displayed long, so we're actually going to set it for 0 seconds. So now when we play this, we're going to click here towards the end, and again, it'll play through these last few seconds, 3, 2, 1, and it's automatically going to go to that next slide, and now we've gone on. Now I accidentally set this as a go to loop to the beginning, so that's why that welcome lunch slide didn't show up. I'll just uncheck that and hit OK, and now we're back to normal. So it's going to again go through and play that video. Now what if we wanted to actually have a timer to tell people, hey, this loop of images is going on, but here's how much time you have until our service begins? Well, we can easily add that in. So I'm going to go to messages, and we have a couple options by default. We have a message or a countdown. We're going to use the countdown, and I want this to count down to a specific time, and I want that to be 5 o'clock for our night service. I type that in and hit enter to confirm, and then we can hit start, and you'll see that we have 31 minutes to go. So we can hit show message, and it's just going to show a 3140 in the middle of the screen, which doesn't really tell us much. So let's edit this and make it say something a little bit better. So I'm going to go into the editor, and I'm just going to click in here, and I'm going to say our next service begins in :space, and fix my spelling with my little 4 there. So our next service begins in, and then we have our countdown. And then I can also grab a template that I created for our countdown that's at the bottom of the screen. And so now when we say show message, you'll see our next service begins and it's running. And now we can close this out and we can go through our loop. And so you can see at the bottom of the screen, we have how long until our service begins, and our slides are up on the screen scrolling through. And even when our video plays here, it still has that message at the bottom of the screen so that you know our next service begins in 31 minutes. We're going to be talking about advanced slide design. Many times we think of slides as just text or an image or video, but slides can be so much more than that. They can be a combination of all of those different things, and I'm going to show you how you can create awesome slides right inside ProPresenter. So here I have some announcement slides, but let's add a new one. So I'm going to add a new slide, then I'm going to click on the editor, and you'll see we have our default template text here, and I'm just going to delete that and start from scratch. The first thing I'm going to do is grab a background and throw it in here. So we're just going to grab this background, then I'm going to close our image and video bin. Next, let's add in a slide element. So let's add in a graphic, and we're going to be creating a please silence your cell phone slide. So I'm going to grab this cell phone image that I have here, and we're just going to grab the corner here and we're going to scale it down. And what you'll notice is that as I'm scaling it, it's constraining proportions and making sure it doesn't get skewed. And that's because of this setting over here. So if we click on the gear icon, you can see we have some fitting settings. Right now it's set to scale to fit, which constrains proportion. We also have scale to fill, which constrains proportions, but sometimes part of the image will get cut off. And then the last one is stretch to fit, which doesn't constrain proportions and will squash your image. So we're going to go back to scale to fit. We're going to get this the size that we want it, and we're going to just put it down here in the corner. Now I've used a PNG image, and that's why you can see the backgrounds, because PNGs can have transparency. But you can use any image or video on a slide as long as your Macintosh can read it. Next, let's add in another slide element. I'm going to grab this rectangle tool here, and we're just going to scale this out and have this be a background for our text. Now, I'm actually going to put this above our image, but you'll see what we can do with it here in just a second. So I'm going to go to our object settings. I'm going to get rid of our line color. And then next I'm going to change our corner radius from 0 to about 40, and it's going to give us a nice rounded corner. After that, let's change our fill color. In here we could choose any color we want, but what I want to do is actually change the opacity of our color. I'm going to bring this down to about 60%. Now on slides you can have multiple elements, and these are all layered. So what we can do is we can change the layer order here. So I'm going to send this backwards, and now our hand is sitting on top of our little box here, which makes our image look a little nicer. Now let's add in some text. And in here, I'm just going to write in, please silence your cell phones. And let's drag this box out so we can actually see what we wrote. And we're going to bring this down, and I want to make our text quite large. So what we're going to do is go to our text over here, and we're just going to keep scaling this up. Maybe we'll see how big we can get it here. Let's go to maybe 80. And that looks pretty good. It's a nice large piece of text there. And instead of white text, what I want to do is I actually want to have black text. So we're going to click on the text color. We're going to go, actually let's do a dark blue. So something that kind of blends in with the rest of the slide. And then let's do an outline. Instead of black, let's do an outline of white. And let's go to our drop shadow. And let's change our drop shadow color from a black color to more of a white glow. And so we can put that there and maybe turn it up a little bit, and you'll see that we get a little bit of a glow going on there. And then we can change our radius up to maybe 20. And you can't quite see it, but you see that we have a little bit of a glow going on there. It just helps set the text out from the background and makes it look nice. So as you can see, you can create a pretty detailed and nice looking slide from right inside ProPresenter, and you're really only limited by your creativity. One of the things you're going to spend the most time doing inside ProPresenter is utilizing media. Whether it be background media, foreground media, it's going to be full of media. It's a media presentation tool. So let's talk about how to utilize the image and video bin to its fullest to make your utilization even better. So down here at the bottom, you'll see your video and image bin. Now, a couple things to point out is that you have background videos and foreground videos. Now, the difference between background and foreground videos is background videos are generally for support behind text, and these don't have audio, whereas foreground videos are more like mini movies or video clips that do have audio, and that's why they reside in two separate areas. Now, you also have an area for purchase media, and then you can create other playlists. Now, down here at the bottom at the gear icon, you can create a new playlist, a new hot folder, and a new group folder. Now, group folders are just for organization, but what hot folders do is we're going to create a new hot folder, and then we're going to go and find a place. So we're going to go to the desktop, and we're going to go grab Pro5 Media, and we're going to go grab all of Centerline New Media's media, and we're going to hit OK. And this is going to create a hot folder of all of the media that's inside that folder. Now, if I open up Pro5 Media here, and I go inside this Centerline New Media folder, and I get rid of this Sunrise Water 1. I'm just going to drag it out of here. You'll see it immediately remove itself from this hot folder because the hot folder live updates itself. Now, all I have to do is drag it back in, and there it is. Hot folders are very helpful for organizing your media. The other thing that ProPresenter does to help organize you is by automatically managing your media. Much like iTunes, when you add media inside ProPresenter, it can automatically move it to a centralized location. So to do this, we're going to go to ProPresenter and go down to Preferences. And under the General Preferences, you'll see Media Repository, and you can say Manage Media Automatically. And what that's going to do is it's going to take all media added inside ProPresenter and it's going to put it into this directory above. So you can do this and you can change where that directory is. The other thing that ProPresenter allows you to do with your images and videos is actually alter them to get the most out of them. You can apply video effects, video coloring, all sorts of different things. So let's see how this works. So we have a background running, and I'm going to leave this up so we can see the difference between these two backgrounds in the end. So we're going to right click and go to Media Properties, and we can start altering some different settings. We can set different thumbnails, we can also set different in and out points, and we can actually hit play and watch this live update as we change different settings. This next tab has some different scaling options that we can set in here, as well as we can flip the image. So maybe we want to flip the image upside down and we want to do an upside down background. We can also affect the play rate, so we can either have it go faster or slower, and so now we have a really fast version of this, or we can kick it down and have it go a little bit slower. We're going to go back to 100%, and you can see how that looks there. Now let's go into this next area, and this is actually different video effects we can apply. So under here we have some color filters, so we can just do a straight up color filter, and we can choose which color we want to filter it by and mess around with that there. We can also go and do a sepia tone, which is going to desaturate the image. We can do a color invert, which is going to invert all our colors. We could do a gray invert, which is going to give us a black and white invert, and we can do heat signature, which sometimes does some funky things, but other times can look pretty awesome. We're going to do no effect for right now, and then we're going to go down here to our other color settings. What I'd like to do is actually kick up our saturation a little bit and get some more vibrance out of this image. And then we're going to kick up our contrast and kick up our brightness so we can see a little bit more of what's going on in the background here. And now that we have that, we can also mess around with this hue slider, and this is actually going to change the hue of all of the different colors. So it's not just a one color overlay, it's a multi-color overlay. So I like the colors that we have going on in here. Next, above here, we have some different blurring options. So I'm going to click on image blur, and I'm just going to blur this out, and you'll see that the whole image is blurring out. And again, this is live updating and showing us the different effects that we have going on here. Now, we can also try an edge blur, and I'm going to kick this all the way up here, and you're going to see that we get some really interesting, nice look going on here. You know, and then if we maybe went back and we kicked our play rate down to maybe 50% here, you'll see that we just get a really unique looking background that's very different than the original. Not only can you apply those video effects to your video, but you can also have multiple instances of them in your library. So here's a playlist that I created, and this first one is the original clip. All I did was do copy and then paste, and I went through and altered these. Now these are all based off of the exact same video clip, so this has been blurred and has a new color added to it, and as you can see, this one's been flipped and has a different blurring to it, and this one's been altered and actually slowed down, and we've changed the color. So all of these different clips are all based off of that exact same video. Last, let's look at how easy it is to add media from your image and video bin to playlists and to documents. So we're going to grab this soft color, and all we have to do is click on it and drag it to whatever slide we want it to be the background of. When we drag it into a slide, it will automatically be the background, and when you click it, it's going to show that background, and it will hold that background until a new background shows up in another slide, and that'll fade out. Again, it's using the global settings for our backgrounds here, so if we wanted a different transition, we could switch to swap, and when we click on this background, it will swap our backgrounds out for us. So we'll set this back to dissolve and hit done. The next thing is if we want to add in a background as a standalone slide and not actually underneath text. And all we have to do for this is just click and drag it in between, and now we'll add in a new slide of that background. Now to add in foregrounds, this is very similar. All we have to do is click and grab our foreground element, and we can add that into the slide. We can also grab foreground videos and add them right into playlists for easy playback. So there are a lot of options, as you can see, to utilize media inside ProPresenter. Not only can ProPresenter utilize video and images, it also can control your audio. So I'm going to go to audio, and it's going to open up our audio bin. This is very similar to our image and video bin. So we have a master play area. We have a library that shows all of our media, and this is a listing of all the media. We also can create new playlists and new group folders. Down here at the bottom, we can set the fade duration to fade in and fade out, and we can add new media. So I'm going to add some new media here, and we're just going to click all of these songs here and add them in. Now you'll notice a couple different icons. We have one icon that is a speaker, and then the other ones look like our standard iTunes icons. Now the one with the speaker is a sound effect, and there's two different types of audio clips. There's sound effects and tracks. And so this sound effect is a little camera sound, and then we also actually have real songs. Now, you can actually play sound effects on top of tracks, but you can't play more than one track at a time. So the next thing I want to do is create a playlist for Sunday morning. So I'm going to click on our new playlist button here, and we're going to call this Intro Songs. And then I'm going to go back to my library. I'm going to Command click on all of these, and I'm going to Command drag them to Intro Songs. So now we have a library of all of these, and then I'm going to again select all of these songs, and I'm going to right click and I'm going to do behavior, and I'm going to set this not to loop or stop but go to next, so it automatically plays through our playlist. And then we can now play this, and it would automatically play through all those songs for our intro music for a Sunday morning. Templates allow you to change the look and feel of your slides without having to go through and individually edit every single slide. Now this comes in really handy because you can quickly try out multiple looks of your slides in a very short amount of time. You also can save different templates for later use and even share templates across ProPresenter installations. Now templates aren't just used for regular song slides, they're also used for the Twitter feature, Bibles, and even multi-screen. So let's check out how this works. So I'm going to go to template, and under here you'll see all the templates that we can apply. Right now we have the default center text template applied, and below that you'll see some high quality lower third templates that have been preloaded from ProPresenter. Now these are both in 16:9 and 4:3, and to apply a template all I have to do is go over and click on it, and it's going to apply it to the currently selected slide. So you can see here we have a nice lower third template with some different grungy backgrounds and some colored text, and this can work great for any sort of background that you choose. Now to change out the template, again, all we have to do is go down, find a template we like, and we can apply it. So now we can quickly apply this candles background, which doesn't look great with this motion background, but would look great with other backgrounds. And again, these are all preloaded inside ProPresenter. So now let's create a template. So I'm going to go over to template, and I'm going to go down here and I'm going to create a new template. Now this is a template group, and I'm just going to call it my custom template group, and I'm going to hit save. Now this is going to bring up the template editor, which looks exactly like the slide editor because it's going to apply these templates to slides. So anything that you can do to a slide, you can also create a template to apply to all of your slides. So the first thing we're going to do is grab our text tool here. We're going to create a little text box, and I'm going to create my default text that I'm going to use for songs. And this is just going to be standard text here. So I'm going to stretch out my text box here. I'm going to go to my font options here, and I'm going to say that I want this to put the text at the top of the box always. I want to do like a 54-point font. And we're going to go up here and we're going to change our font to, let's say, Tahoma. So I'm just going to scroll down here until I find Tahoma. And we're going to say regular, and we're going to do bold, and make sure it's at that 54 that we want. Maybe do a 2-point outline. And then let's go to our object settings and down here to shadow, and let's do a drop shadow, but I want a radius so it's kind of feathered. I'm going to do a 5-point radius of this text. And then we can go to our slide label, and we're going to just say this is our normal text, if I can spell today. And we're going to hit enter to confirm that. And now we can go through and we can close out our slide editor. And we can go to template, down to custom, and we can apply our normal text. And you can see that it's applied it to this one slide because that was the slide that's selected. Now to apply it to the whole presentation, I'll click off of that slide, hit normal text, and it will apply it to all of my slides here. So our text is a little big. We have some of the words going off, so we can easily edit that. So we're going to go to Edit Template Group. We're going to click on our text. We'll center that back up with the little yellow line there, shows us that we're at center. Go back to our font, and let's try maybe going down to like a 46. And now we can hit close this out, go click off to apply to all, and then we're going to go to custom, normal text, and you'll see now our text is looking nice, and we have nice big text with a nice drop shadow there. But now let's create our own lower third template. So we're going to go back to custom, and we're going to do edit template group. And this is going to allow us to edit and add more slides. So down here, I'm just going to hit the Add Slide button. Now it's using the default template, so we're going to actually delete this. We're going to go back to our normal text. We're going to hit Command-C, and then we're going to hit Command-V to paste this. We're going to paste this text into here because I already have this formatted the way I want. I just want it for a lower third. So now we need to add in an image. So I'm going to hit the new image icon, and I'm going to go in here and I'm going to grab these wood planks that I got from cgtextures.com. So you can see here we have some wood planks that we're going to use, and now I want to actually crop this image. I don't want to like scale it, I just want to use part of the image. So what we can do is go over to the settings icon here for this, and instead of scale to fit, we're going to do scale to fill. And this is going to try fill the frame fully, and what happens is when I start bringing this down, you're going to see it starting to crop the image. So I'm going to go until I can just see a little bit of these top two plank boards, and then I'm just going to move this down to the bottom of the frame here to make our lower third. And then you can see, well, we can't see the text right now, so I'm going to use the layer ordering buttons and send that back. Grab our text here and just move this down just a little bit with my arrow keys. And to make sure we can fit 4 lines of text in this, I'm just going to do 1, 2, 3. And we can see that we don't fully see 4 lines of text. So I'm going to move this up until we have our full 4 lines of text that we want. And then we're going to just take our background here and move that up just a little bit further so we can see all of our different text on the screen at one time. Then we'll go over and we're going to name this with a slide label of lower wood, and then we can close out the template editor, and then we're going to go to template, and we're going to go to custom, and we're going to apply our new lower wood lower third template. Again, it only applied it to this slide because that's the one I had selected. To apply it to all of the slides, we can go to custom and hit it again for all of them. And we have a nice wood background here for our text that looks great with this background there. So now you've created your first few templates there, and it's very easy, as you can see. As soon as you know how to create a slide, you can create a template, and you can save template groups for series and all sorts of different things. One handy feature is that once a template has been applied, it no longer holds any connection to the template. So you can go and alter that slide and it won't alter the actual template, which means you can actually alter a template and then save that template out as a new template. To understand what I'm saying, check this out. So I'm going to go to the editor, and now let's start altering this slide. The first thing that I want to do is resize this text box so it's on the screen here. And we can scale this back out until it fits, and we can center it. We can just kind of move it around until we see that yellow line. Now let's center our text, and then let's change the font. So I want to use this American Typewriter bold, and then I want to change my font color to a nice bright white. And then we need to make our outline a little thicker so we can see our text. So we're going to make a 2-point outline, and we're going to make that outline in a maybe dark brown color. So like go in here and find a nice dirty dark brown. And you're starting to see that our text is popping out a good bit there. Now let's go over to our object settings and mess around with our drop shadow here. Let's apply a length of maybe 5 and a radius of maybe 8. So we have a nice fuzzy drop shadow there. And let's check out our opacity and maybe kick that up a little bit so it's a little stronger, so we can start to see our text a little better. Then we need to make this text box just slightly larger so that our text all fits on the screen. So now we've gone through and we've edited this one slide to look right. Now I want to actually make this a template. And again, this hasn't altered the template that we have over here that we originally applied. So what we're going to do is we're going to right click, and we're going to go to template, and we're going to do save selected slides as template. And when we do this, we actually get an option of where we want to save this as. We can either save over one of these current groups, or we're going to just save this as my lower third altered group. And I'm just going to hit save. And now we have a new template group in here called lower third altered, and we can apply this template 1 to the entire group here by clicking on that again. and you can see that it applies it to all of our different slides. So it's that easy to alter a slide and then apply it to all of our different templates. So hopefully you see the power of templates and how easy they are to use, because they definitely will come in handy. Many churches use Planning Center Online to plan their services and gatherings, and now in ProPresenter 5, you can easily import that playlist inside ProPresenter. Inside Planning Center, you'll see that I have a playlist here with a few different songs as well as a few other items. Now to integrate this inside ProPresenter, I'm going to switch back. I'm going to go to ProPresenter and I'm going to go to Preferences. Now underneath the network settings, you'll see Planning Center Online. You're going to need to log into your account and authenticate that ProPresenter can make changes. After you've done that, you can set a few different settings here for checking for updates, uploading documents, matching songs in the library, as well as showing historical service plans, which basically allows you to see services from the past or only services coming in the future. Now if we go to the lower left corner, we can create a new Planning Center Online playlist. This is going to show us all of our service types and any plans inside those services. So I'm going to grab my service, and it's going to look for matches in the library. Now you can see here, I'll move this over so we can see a little better. You can see that we have a new icon showing that this is a Planning Center Online playlist, and we have a warning here for attachments. This allows us to go through and either upload these files to Planning Center, which will upload and attach this ProPresenter 5 Mighty to Save file to our Planning Center Online database, or to ignore it. For now, I'm just going to ignore. And now you can see in here that we have all of our different songs. Now we have a few different items here, as well as Mighty to Save. It's found in my library and it's automatically attached it. However, All I Need Is You, it couldn't find because I accidentally named it All I Need. So all I have to do is drag this in here, and now it's added it to my playlist. And you can see all my other songs are available as well. The new Planning Center Online playlists are also dynamic, so if you make changes to Planning Center Online, it's going to update it inside ProPresenter. So inside Planning Center, we're going to add a new song. We're going to add Christ is Risen. And we'll just add this to our list here. And so now you can see this has been added, and maybe we're going to do this after Life Together. So then we're going to switch back inside ProPresenter. I'm going to click on my Planning Center Online playlist. You're going to see that it's going to go search for the update, and I'm going to hit update. And now we can see that Christ is Risen has been added into our playlist.